असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Chairman sir, just a moment. Chairman sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madhu. Good evening, ladies. Sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are today into the 25th webinar of BAI Mumbai Centre monthly lecture series. Today's webinar is being organized jointly by BAI Mumbai Centre and BAI Housing and RERA Committee. Under the Section 3 of Environment Protection Act 1986 of India, Coastal Regulation Zone notification was issued in February 1991 for the first time for regulation of activity in the coastal area by the Union Ministry of Environment and Forest. As per the notification, the coastal land up to 500 meters from the high tide line and at a stage of 100 meters long bank of creeks, lagoons, estuaries, backwaters and rivers subject to tidal fluctuations is called the Coastal Regulation Zone, that is CRZ. CRZ along the country has been placed in 4 categories. Recently, new rules have come into focus. We will be hearing from the learned keynote speaker, Dr. Gopal Chiplunkar, about the same. I thank Dr. Gopal Chiplunkar for graciously agreeing to brief our members. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome the senior functionaries of BAI from across India who have joined us here from today evening. I thank and welcome all the participants who have registered and joined us here today. I am sure they will continue to support and encourage us participating in our webinars in future also. I wish you all a very informative evening. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra. Now I request Anand Gupta to do the introduction speech.
Gupta sir, 1 minute, sir. Gupta sir, switch on your this thing, video. Gupta sir. And Gupta sir, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I hope you all can hear me.
Yeah.
Good evening, friends. Today, our Buildership of India has organized a very important webinar, mainly particularly on a very, very important subject. Though this regulation, the coastal regulation, affects the total 7,500 kilometer coastal area of the whole country, but it more affects the Mumbai, Palghar, Thane, this area for various reasons. Subsequent to 1991, when this regulation was formed, this there has been a lot of hurdles in creating the development of all redevelopment properties in these areas. But after a lot of hurdles, in 2018, these approvals were given. Subsequent to that, September 2021, DCPR 2034 of Mumbai and the new DCR of Maharashtra has given a full-fledged freedom to use all the increased FSI. Still, there have been a lot of problems, particularly this 100-meter width of creek area and coastal area. Now, recently, that also has been reduced to 50 meter. This will facilitate the redevelopment of all various properties in Mumbai, Thane, suburb of Mumbai, Palghar. This will also facilitate various infrastructure projects which were waiting for this clearance. Still, residents of these areas are having a lot of reservation and a lot of apprehension for taking up any redevelopment, as they are not confident that their proposal will get cleared or not cleared. Today, we have called a very specialist who is an expert on this subject. He will clarify all these apprehensions, and I'm sure after hearing him, all the apprehensions of all the residents of this area will get clear. And still, anything remains, question and answer session is going to be there to clarify for more. With this, I conclude my opening remark.
Thank you, sir. Chairman, sir, I think Mr. Harshad Shah is not there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have pleasure in introducing today's keynote speaker. Our today's keynote speaker, Dr. Gopal Chiplunkar, is one of the consultants undertaking CRZ, that is Coastal Regulatory Zone, and related regulatory consultancy works in Mumbai and surrounding areas. He has a sizable experience of 20+ years in service of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, wherein he was associated with the work of first CRZ map making in the year 1998-2000. After his services with the government, he started his own consultancy practice since 2010. He is a qualified civil engineer from Mumbai University, has a master's from IIT Mumbai in remote sensing and geographic information system, also known as GIS, and a law degree from Mumbai University. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have pleasure in presenting Dr. Chiplunkar.
Good evening to all. I am thankful to Builders Association of India in giving me this opportunity to present a knowledge sharing seminar on CRZ. To start with, I think our chairman, sir, Mr. Rijhwani, has very correctly and very in a very nutshell, he has opened up what is CRZ, under which law it has came. It has, as you are all aware, it has came under the provisions of the Environment Protection Act, under Section 321 of Environmental Protection Act. Then Anand Gupta sir has also given a very crisp idea about what are the present amendments in the CRZ notification and how the new notification act came into force. Before I start, I presume I am audible. My volume is less. My volume is less.
No, it's okay, sir. Go back.
Okay. So with that, sir, before I start my presentation, let us understand. I will go a bit slow over here because some of you might have heard me in PEATA just 7 to 8 days ago. The slides may be 80% or so. The slides are same. So obviously the content is same. So obviously the slides will be almost more or less same. However, there I got very less time. So I think I had to rush up over there. I won't rush up because I think here we are all sitting at our own place. And there, of course, there was a time limit. So that's why I'll go a bit slow. Before starting the PPT, let us understand why we are here. See, because the CRZ notification 2019, which is in front of me, that has came into force on 18th January 2019. All of us are aware that the notification came into force on 18 Jan 2019. Now, the said notification has very clearly said that in CRZ 2, the FSI and FAR shall be as on 18 January 2009. So all DC regulations, all regulatory provisions will be as on 18th January 2019. Now, if that is so, then why we are waiting till 2023? Now, the reason is that there was a very tricky provision in the regulation itself, in the notification itself of 18 Jan 2019, that this notification will not come into force till the maps based on this notification are finally sanctioned by Government of India. So this map taking process, as you all are aware, is a very tedious process. In short, I will explain you. But the process was started. Then, of course, in between we lost a very vital time during the Corona period, more than a year or so. The maps for entire coastal Maharashtra has been prepared. However, at present, recently in last week of February, the plans for Mumbai and suburban of Mumbai has been approved. So let us understand what is its meaning. As the plans for Mumbai and suburban of Mumbai has been approved, in Mumbai and its suburban area in CRZ2, the entire provisions of DCPR 2034 will apply. So obviously earlier, these provisions we used to get benefit only for sales buildings or dilapidated buildings or slum. Now they have removed all the categories and all the provisions of DCPR 2034 as in force on 18 January 2019 shall be made applicable to the development or redevelopment within the coastal areas of Mumbai and suburban of Mumbai. Now, the next question immediate comes is, what happens about the Thana, Palghar, as I think Gupta sir has rightly pointed out. What happens about Thana, Palghar, and Navi Mumbai and all such areas? Now, here again, the issue is those plans has been prepared. Those plans are under the discussions at state level. They will go before the center and then they will get approved. Now, here there is the local groups or BAI or local developer groups or local architects association. I think now that their role is very vital here. Now they have to pursue, because as far as I know, in Mumbai, lot of developers and lot of architects, and there was actually, they have created a peer pressure groups, and they were virtually chasing at all levels, right from MCZMA to the ministry level. And that has finally resulted into this final approval, at least for Mumbai. So, but Mumbai is important, but as good as Thana is also equally important, then your Navi Mumbai is equally important. So obviously, I hope that within next 3 to 4 months, all these areas will also get approved. And whatever we are discussing today, that will be easily applicable in those areas in very near future. So even though it is not being applicable today, it will apply in very near future. That was number one before I start the PPT. Number two, as Anand Gupta sir has rightly pointed out, that in case of creeks and tidally influenced water bodies and creeklets, the CRZ width has been reduced from 100 meters to 50 meters. Now again, this will apply only for Mumbai and suburb. This won't apply till for rest of the areas till the maps are approved. However, for Mumbai, all for Bay areas and for creek areas, the CRZ width has been reduced to 50 meters. Now, immediately after approval of these plans, there was a press news in all the local newspapers that the CRZ has been reduced to 50 meters blanket. I think there we need some correction. The CRZ has not been reduced to 50 meters as a blanket. The CRZ from seafront remains 500 meters. There is no change. The CRZ from the creek has been reduced to 50 meters. Now, if we all are aware about the Mumbai, in Mumbai, there are 4 to 5 intercepting creeks like Daisar Creek, Manori Creek, Malad Creek, Thane Creek, and Maul Creek. So for all these creeks, as well as the MMRDA going the Mithi River or creek, whatever you can say. So for all this, the CRZ has been reduced. Then as far as for the Bay areas, that is for Mahim Bay and the Back Bay, the CRZ has been reduced to 50 meters. But for all other sea fronts per se, if you ask me the Pedder Road, if you ask me the zoo, if you ask me the the main seafront along the I think west side of the Banori. So that sea. So I think which are the villages, maybe Gorai, Banori and all that. So there the CRZ has not been reduced, but it has been retained to 500 meters. I think with this clarity, let us start with the my presentation. Okay, I think we'll cover the question answers afterwards. Barabar hai na, Gupta ji?
After this total presentation is over.
Yes, yes, yes. Hope the slides are readable and they are okay with it. I think this particular slide I have, this is the, this was the slide I prepared because why we are meeting here today. So I think that I have already covered in my starting of the speech, which here you can read it, that for sea it is 500 meter, for creek it is 50 meters. In approved CZMP, there is no blanket reduction. And as I have already told that the clause number 6.1 of the notification says that the CRZ notification will come into force only after CZMPs are approved. So that is the reason now in February 2022, as CZMP for Mumbai are approved and uploaded, the new CRZ notification 2019 will automatically become applicable, and therefore DCPR 2034 shall apply within CRZ2 areas of Mumbai. This I already said that for Thane and Navi Mumbai, what we have to do as a groups, as a developer groups, as architect groups. Then there was also not many people were asking, since the in CRZ2 areas the regulations as on 2019, that is in Mumbai, the DCPR 2034 is being applicable, whether there is any requirement of obtaining NOC from CRZ point of view, from MCZM. So as per the notification, the requirement of NOC has not been done away with. The NOC requirement is still there. However, the in CRZ2 on the landward side of the road or on the landward side of the existing authorized structure, we are getting all the permissible FSI, FAR and all other provisions of the development control regulations, DCPR 2034. So for all practical purposes, I am saying practical purposes, there may be some areas where there may be a conflict, but I can definitely tell you in Mumbai and suburban areas, for all practical purposes, in CRZ2 areas, the earlier, the problems faced by all the builders fraternity from CRZ are virtually over. So I can definitely assure you that at least 90% cases from Mumbai, they will be now streamlined and they will be now getting all present episodes. This is the letter of approval for CZMP. I'm just going to keep it for a while on the screen. Again, you will ask me, when the CZMP was approved on 29 September 2021, why it took so much time to upload it finally. So if you read here the condition number 2, I think, the condition number 3 or 1. The condition number 3, subsection Roman 1, that says that the CZMP for Mumbai city and Mumbai suburban district shall also include the ESZ. We are all aware which are the ESZ in Mumbai. There are 2 ESZ in Mumbai. One is the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Of course, it is far away from CRZ, so there is no question of inclusion of that ESZ in the CRZ maps. The second one is obviously the Flamingo ESZ in the Thana Creek, which we all are aware. So the authorities or the ministry directed that you please mark this Flamingo ESZ on the CRZ map and resubmit to ministry and get their sanction. So I think that took time from 29 September 2021 to February 2022. And now in February 2022, these final plans has been uploaded on the MCZMA website. Anybody of you can go and check over there. There are two types of plans they have uploaded. One is the sanctioned CRZ maps and one is the land use plans. Now, why they have uploaded the land use plans, I will cover in my presentation. I hope you have read this first page of the letter. This is the second page of the approval letter. The second page of the approval letter, if you read the condition number 4, it is very clear that, see, if there are some proposals pending before the MCZMA, now all of us are aware that MCZMA, there is a lot of pendency because of the COVID times, and there was no authority appointed by the ministry. So that is the reason why there is a lot of pendency with MCZMA. And now the authority has been appointed, they have started the meetings. However, the clause number 4 very clearly says that if there is any proposal pending before the authority, as per the old notification, then it is the choice to the PP. So otherwise, what normally would have happened is they would have returned all the proposals to BMC. Because what is happening is, in case of cess buildings, in case of dilapidated buildings, there is absolutely no change, whether new notification or old notification. You are going to get all benefits of DCPR 2034. So if they would have sent all these files back to BMC, again, there would have been a delay of 5 to 6 months, which I think they have avoided. And they have very clearly said that if there are any proposals pending before the authority for sanction, then a PP can go before the authority and say that I am exercising my option under the old notification because there is no change for me in the respect of FSI and all that. And so please consider my case under the old notification and grant me clearance. So that leeway they have kept it. I think that is a welcome move by the ministry. Now, let us understand, as far as 2019 notification, what benefit for Mumbai and Mumbai suburbs we are going to get. Hope everybody is aware about the Mumbai geographical positions, so which I already explained, that Mahim Bay, Back Bay, then all the creeks, Malad, Manori, Thane, Miti, will get the benefit of reduced CRZ from 100 to 50. I will pinpoint from where to where the Mahim Bay is there and from where to where the Back Bay is there. The Mahim Bay actually starts from the lands in at Bandra to the Worli Koliwada tip. So that is completely a Mahim Bay. And the Back Bay starts from the tip of Rajbhavan to the tip of Nevilam. So that is completely the Back Bay. So that complete area they have considered as a bay, and there you will get the benefit of reduced CRZ width from 100 to 50. This is again the repetition, I think. In CRZ2, the norms of FSI-FAR as applicable on 18 January shall apply. Luckily for Mumbai, the DCPR 2034 will be applicable in CRZ2 areas, because they were approved somewhere in the month of May 2018. So all the benefits of FSI, FAR as well as DP of 2034 will be applicable in CRZ2 areas. Now here it is a little bit complicated thing. Any modification or amendment after 18th January 2019 will not straight away apply to CRZ2 areas. That means they have given in the notification a provision that if government wants to modify any specific provision related to FSI, and if they want to apply that in CRZ areas, then the government of Maharashtra has to approach to ministry with that specific proposal, and after approval by the ministry, only that FSI proposal will be applicable in CRZ areas, which the government of Maharashtra intends to do amendment post 18 Jan 2019. However, luckily, as on today, DCPR 2034 as applicable as on 18 Jan 2019 are absolutely permissible in CRZ areas. Now, this is a very, very major benefit in the maps, which I will share with you. If you see the maps of CRZ, the two areas in the old maps were kept as CRZ3. All of us are aware. I will not go into those details. What is CRZ2 and what is CRZ3? In short, I can tell you CRZ2, it is liberal for development. CRZ3, it is very lot of restrictions and lot of lesser FSI and lesser development permitted in CRZ3. So in Mumbai, in the old CRZ maps, that is 2011 Mala CRZ maps, the area on the west side of Malad Creek and area on the west side of Manori Creek. So I can name you the villages like Mud, Erangal on west side of the Malad Creek, and villages like Kuelam, Gorai and Manori on the west side of the Manori Creek. All these villages and all those surrounding areas that was placed in CRZ3. Now here what has happened is, luckily now they are bifurcated. The area on the west side of Malad Creek, like Mud, Erangel and all that, that they have now placed in CRZ2. So you can say that more development will be allowed on that side. However, the area on the west side of the Manori Creek, like which I said, the three villages, Kuelam, Gorai and Manori, that area they have maintained in CRZ3. But there, according to my knowledge, BMC is not the planning authority. The MMRD has been appointed as the special planning authority. But that area will definitely be, again, reduced development will be allowed as far as west side of the Manori. Now let us quickly take a look how the CZMPs were prepared. The CRZ maps, which has been published on the website, and how they are prepared. They were prepared, the process for preparation of the CRZ maps has been elucidated in Annexure 4 of CRZ Notification 2019, wherein the authorities have demarcated the high tide line and low tide line. Then authorities have also marked on that the hazard line as demarcated by Survey of India, considering the flooding effects, sea level rise predictions, and shoreline changes like erosion or accretion. The base map for all these CZMPs are taken based on the Survey of India topo sheets in the scale of 1:25,000 to 25,000 scale. As they have undertaken the survey with the GPS, which all are aware now, the GPS surveys which we use now normally, but there we should be aware that in GPS they use the datum as WGS 84 datum with projection system. So now, without going into the details about what is datum and all that, I can quickly tell you why this datum has been used. The datum is nothing but the Earth is not purely a sphere. The Earth is an ellipsoid, and Earth is not also perfect ellipsoid. So that is the reason they use the best fit ellipsoid in the respective area. So theoretically, in India, they use some different datum. However, for GPS, they are using WGS 84, which is the international datum they use all over the world. And that is the reason we have also accepted that and using the WGS 84 data. The map projection, which map projection, we will see when we will go to the CZMP action. I think this too much of technical explanation is not required, but this I have just given you to understand that these maps has been prepared by the first by the Institute of Remote Sensing, Chennai University, Chennai, and then by the NCSCL. It is the National Center for Sustainable Coastal Zone Development System. So I think both are located in Chennai only. So these people have made these maps. They have visited the site. They have extensively visited all the sites, and afterwards they have prepared the maps. So the map making process is reasonably accurate. I cannot say it is 100% accurate, but definitely it is reasonably accurate. And the most important part is that these maps carry a grids. So these carried a latitude and longitude. And our Google Earth is also based on the WGS84 data. So most important part of these maps is that using proper softwares, you can superimpose these maps on Google Earth, which is not possible in any of your DP. I think you are working from all over the Maharashtra. Even Mumbai DP, it is very difficult to match on the Google Earth. Now I think the latest DP which they have made, they have used the actual satellite images, and I think that DP you can match, but still they have not given any coordinate system. So without any proper coordinate system, you can't import that data and you can't put it on the Google Earth. So this particular data you can easily put it on the Google Earth, and that's why while the map makers are aware that their mistake can be easily pointed out. So if they have done anything wrong, on Google Earth, you can simply change the transparency. And you can simply show, "Arey, yahan to mangrove hai hi nahi, aapne mangrove kaise bataya?" So it is not that easy to prepare these maps and go into the public with all these so much of details with coordinate system. But however, still, if at all there is any error, the ministry is always open, and they have already made a provision in the notification itself that if there is any error, they have kept the error rectification mechanism in the notification itself. Here again, let us go see which I was saying here. Clause number 5, you can see the concept of revision of CZMP that has been given in clause number 7 of Annexure 4. So in case of any doubt or in case of errors, obviously the map can be corrected. I will just skip this slide for reading. However, this particular slide actually talks about why land use maps they have published. Because the clause number 5 of CZM map, they specifically point out that you have to also show the coastal land use map and publish the coastal land use maps. So accordingly, they have published the coastal land use maps. Now here again, I will come in slightly in detail on the hazard line in the next slide. Till that, you can just go through this slide quickly and you can have your any questions in your mind. Clause number 4, you can read it over here. Why hazard line has been drawn? The hazard line, if you see at places, the hazard line has came 3 kilometers inside from the high tide line. So the hazard line has been just marked considering the likelihood of the flooding in those areas. The hazard line has been marked so that while doing the land use planning for the area between the hazard line and the high tide line, it is expected that the planning authorities should take into account these impacts of the climate changes, shoreline changes, and the likelihood of flooding in future. Let me very clarify on this. The notification nowhere restricts or controls any development within the hazard line, because the definition of the CRZ in the clause number 1 itself does not include hazard line in that. The CRZ itself is limited only up to 500 meters from the seafront or only up to the 50 meters from the creek. This hazard line has been categorically mentioned as a disaster management tool. So they have given the additional tool to us, to planners, to developers, to architects. That they have given, you can say that this is a sort of warning that if you are planning a building in the hazard line area, then you have to take utmost precaution that how your building will be, what measures you will take in case of flooding. So that is the only thing. There is no any additional thing about FSI restriction or not granting any development or granting any development. It has got nothing to do with that. So this is an additional tool. Now, if I think many of you are aware, we move in various outside countries. So if you are aware, in United States or in any other countries, there are such hazard zonation maps, and they are mainly used for insurance purposes. So if you are buying a house in such hazard line or hazard affected line map, then your house insurance will be more and nothing else. So it's not that the government is trying to tell you don't stay over here, don't build over here, or government is trying to tell you that we are not going to give you any permission, nothing like that. But yes, they are giving you an indication that this area is, this flooding may happen, the probability may be 1 in 25 years, 1 in 100 years, whatever is that. So based on that, they have said that it is the flood likelihood area and nothing else. I think here, this slide, I will just keep it on the screen just for reading. I won't read the line by line, everybody can read. But here I think it is the same thing which I have stated earlier. The hazard line is basically, this is a part of the notification. It is not my scripting. So it is perfectly a part of the notification, and they have very clearly said that the hazard lines shall be used only for the disaster management tool and for nothing else. Sorry. So I think, hope everybody has read this. I think because there are there are likely to be many questions on hazard line. If my property is in hazard line, whether I will get permission, I will not get permission, whether my FSI will be restricted, what should I do? I think there is nothing has been specified by the ministry. I think it is for our engineering fraternity has to decide, or the planning authority has to decide. In case of BMC, I think the our stormwater department is capable enough. They have got all the maps of individual streams, and I think they had appointed in past the international consultant, and the data available with the stormwater SW department of BMC, Brimstone rather, is really amazing, and they have got all the technical know-how. So I think they will be able to suggest us. I think the stormwater drain remarks, the normal SW remarks, which we are taking in our proposals in such areas, they should suffice the purpose, and nothing more will be required. Yes. Now, let us straightway go with the map. I think this is the map I am sharing for the area where we are going to see the bay, that is Mahim Bay, which starts from the land's end to the Warli village end, Koliwada end. Then this map goes on the north side right up to the 161 layout Warsaw. I think whenever we start the map, I will go into that in the next slide. But first, always we see whether it is approved. So you can see here, it is approved and it is signed by who have prepared the map, and even it is signed by the Delhi authority, the Ministry of Environment and Forest Authorities. See, that's what I was just showing to you. So it is approved by the Ministry of Environment and Forest. It is concurred by Principal Secretary. It is certified by the Director as NCSCM, and it is scrutinized by the Technical Scrutiny Committee. Here, I think it is very interesting to read the notes. So note number 1, 2, 3, 4. We are reading the notes. I won't read it. You can read it. However, I will just go quickly on those notes. For mangrove and mangrove buffer, as we all are aware, in Mumbai, the mangrove buffers are also classified as CRZ1. So the 50-meter buffer zone from mangroves is also been classified as CRZ1. So for that, for mangrove and mangrove buffer, if at all there is any conflict of, if at all there is any confusion, we have to read the land use map in association with the CZMP, because land use map clearly shows the mangrove areas. So that is the reason we have to use both the maps. Then the 50-meter mangrove buffer zone that has been shown in the maps. This island, this is not applicable in Mumbai, so let us not read it. They have also said here the reclaimed basins of Prince and Victoria docks of Mumbai and Porters have been demarcated on the CZMP and land use map. I think that is okay. Now here they are saying data source, that also you should read. What is the data source? That the HTL was drawn by the NCSCM. CRZ1A is drawn mangroves and mangrove buffer zone and intertidal areas. CVCA is not there in Mumbai, basically. CVCA is in Malwad and Achra areas. But we will come to that. It is critically vulnerable coastal areas. So that is at least not in Mumbai today. Then the CRZ categories and lines and infrastructure facilities. Hazard line, they have taken it or captured it from the Survey of India. And various data they have taken from Maharashtra Coastal Zone Management Authority, like administrative boundaries, boundaries of Mumbai, then open space reservations within the CRZ2 areas like park, gardens, playground, etc. This is very important because as per the notification and in the map also they have shown, all these open space users like RG, PG, G and no development zone in CRZ2 as CRZ3. So again, which I have already told you, the CRZ2 is highly restrictive. So obviously all these RG, PG, G areas in CRZ2 will be shown as CRZ3. We will see that. See here, this is the lesion wherein we can see the CRZ1A has been marked in green. The ESZ, that is of ESZ of the in the Thana Creek ESZ, that is shown in CRZ1A. 50-meter mangrove buffer zone is also CRZ1A, that is shown in conspicuously dots. CRZ1B is shown as sparse or sparse blue dots. CRZ2 is shown in something pinkish shade. This is NDZ or CRZ3 within CRZ2, like which I said, that is all RG, PG, and G, which is a fluorescent green. Now, this again, no development zone. This we have to very critically see because this no development zone color and CRZ2 color, they are little bit closer. So we have to have a we have to watch closely what is CRZ2 and what is no development zone. And then this is the CRZ4. That is CRZ4 is nothing but actually the water area. So within the sea. So that is correctly marked as blue and dark blue. I think that is very okay. We normally mark the sea and water body as blue. So again, here the legend you can see is high tide line, low tide line, birds, ferry, roads, railway lines, seawall, survey plots. Hazard line, you can see the hazard line dot and then straight line. So these are the, while reading the maps, how you should read the maps. And here, if you are looking at here they have marked the, the tiling. They have done the tiling as per the topo sheets. So if you see here, it is E43A16 northwest, E43A16 northeast. So these are all the tiles of the topo sheet numbers. So these topographical topo sheet numbers they have adopted for preparation of the CRZ maps. Here I have blown up this map. Here you can see on the north, this is the, hope you are able to see my cursor, right? The arrow you are able to see.
Yes.
So this is the survey number 161. So these are the mangroves you are able to see. These are the areas, the yellow areas which I have showed. These are the areas. This must be the RG, PG, and G in CRZ2. So they are categorized as CRZ3. Then all rest of this area of zoo, this has been marked as CRZ2, which I said, obviously we will get all development in CRZ2 on the landward side of the road and on the landward side of the authorized structure. Now, here, this is the area which we are looking at, the dotted blue and dot, and blue and dot. So dotted, so the straight line and blue dot, straight line and blue dot. I think this is the hazard line. Now, this hazard line indicates, because if you see, this is approximately 3 kilometers. So this hazard line 3 kilometers inside has gone, only to indicate that this area, the elevation or the site elevation is very close to the mean sea level. And that is the reason why this area is likelihood of flooding. So that is the reason I think in Mumbai, we are all aware there are many areas like saucer-shaped areas, and the flooding problems every year we face in those coastal areas. If you know the Gazdarban area, if you ask any BMC guys, they will tell you that every year they will always face the flooding spots in those areas. And identifying, maybe we should appreciate the BMC that before this dotted lines and these flooding spots were identified by the ministry, the BMC has already identified, and they have already installed the pumping stations. One at Warsaw, I think Warsaw pumping station, they already started. So whenever then there will be a flooding in these areas, they will try to push out the water from these areas again in the sea. I know this is nothing but you are pumping the sea water, but there is no choice, at least for getting the immediate relief. This measures has been adopted by BMC, and I think they are working for years today. So the next map, now we are able to see, this is the map for the Mahim Bay. So if you see that for Mahim Bay, clearly the CRZ has been reduced only to 50 meters. So if you will see the entire Shivaji Park area, so Shivaji Park, all the plots on the landward side of the Cadil Road are not in CRZ. Rather, many of the plots even on the seaward side are also not in CRZ. Maybe the first or two layers, because I'm looking at only 50 meter depth. So maybe from the high tide line or the compound wall of these plots, maybe the first or two plots, sorry, that will be affected by sea. So I think this is the 50 meters line which we are observing. This Mahim Bay starts from this land side and ends up to here. That is the this is the tip of the Worli Kolivada. So that's why all entire Shivaji Park is non-CRZ. Now here there is always a typical question from Adarsh Nagar. The Adarsh Nagar, there are some unlucky societies. So if you, where my arrow is there, so if you consider from the Bay area, they are conclusively out of CRZ, but they get affected by 500 meters from the seafront of Worli. So this is the junction of 500 meters from sea and 50 meters from the Mahim Bay. So maybe this particular society where I'm putting up the pointer, you can, they are the unlucky societies because they are getting now affected by CRZ. But again, one should not say that they are unlucky, because anyway in CRZ2, the FSI FAR has been now opened up to DCPR 2034. So I don't think their development will be stalled, except that they will have to take the CRZ NOC, which is a part of maybe 3 to 6 months. Yes, now here I will straightway come to some interesting cases in Mumbai. If you go along the Carter Road, there are some mangrove pockets. We know the Carter Road is approximately 27 or 30 meters width. And again, after Carter Road also, they have created one, I think, walkway along that, or pedestrian walkway, or I think for jogging track. So including that, the total width from the mangroves up to the plot boundary comes up to 40 meters. So still, there are many societies fronting the Pedder Road, the Carter Road, which are getting affected by 50 meter of the mangrove buffer zone, which is marked as a CR01. And this 10 meter, why I am saying it is serious, because at present, the FSI advantage of the CRZ1 is not being granted. So obviously, those plots or those societies, temporarily, I'm saying temporarily, if they fight, they go up to the ministry on by taking their specific case, we may get some relief. But as on today, while approval process, they will lose their 10% plot totally. Then again, these I am telling you the challenges of Mumbai. In first part, I have obviously covered the rosy picture. Now, obviously, there can't be all the roses. There has to be some, some bad part in the life. So obviously, these are some of the challenges. Let us not say bad part. Let us say the challenges. So this was the first challenge. Wherever there are mangrove buffer zone, there will be a challenge. For those cases, they have to approach to the ministry and get the relief. The second part, as I already told, where the CRZ3 has been marked in. So otherwise, for the reservations of RG, PG, and gardens, otherwise, as per DCPR 2034, we easily get the accommodation reservation. So on 30% portion of the plot, you can use the complete FSI and hand off the 70% of the portion to the planning authority. However, once it is marked as CRZ3, there are more restrictions upon that, and there will be a challenge that how the accommodation, the accommodation reservation rules will apply in such cases. Number 3, which I already told you, the FSI FAR benefits approved after 18 Jan 2019. I think there are some benefits as far as CES buildings are concerned. The Mumbai developers must be knowing it in a better way. Where some marginal FSI they have been added, some amendment was done in 2020, but that amendment will not have its effect in CRZ areas. With number 4, I think the CRZ notification per se do not permit any post facto approval. That is the biggest challenge. All our Navi Mumbai developers who must be listening this presentation, they are aware, they are fighting their n number of cases in Navi Mumbai for post facto. There was a window opened for the post facto by the ministry, like they have opened up for 6 months period. That you apply in those 6 months, and we will grant you post facto permissions. But even that is also under the litigations, and that is the reason why Navi Mumbai developers have not yet obtained the post facto permissions after after a protracted legal battle and protracted battle with the ministry. I think clause number 5, I already explained you in my slide that the pending cases before the MCZMA will be given an option whether to go under the old rules or new rules. Again, I think the large area affected by hazard line, I have already explained. The hazard line has been shown purely as an area which is likely to be affected by the floods. And that is the reason the hazard line has to be used only as a disaster mitigation tool and not for any other purposes. So that has to be very, very clear that it has got nothing to do with the permissions or refusal of permission, because the clause number 1 of the CRZ notification does not include the hazard line area as CRZ area. So hazard line, they have given an additional data set. It is purely an additional technical data set given to the technical fraternity and to the developers, maybe to the insurance companies. That's it. Again, the CZMP specific, we all know if the property is affected partly by CRZ1, then the powers of granting the permission are not with the state level, but they will go to the Government of India. 161 layout mangrove buffer I have shown. Gazdarban and Saraswat colony mangrove buffer. There are some mangrove buffer which has been shown in the map. You can see the map because maps are very easily available on the website. Adarsh Nagar Junction I have already explained, and Gazdarban also I already explained. Now, yes, I think this is the clause number 2 again. Please read this clause number 2. They have shown the mangrove buffer zone very clearly in the CRZ maps. However, the notification per se says that if the mangrove is situated on the private land, again I am repeating, not buffer on the private land, buffer will always be on the private land only. If the adjoining mangrove is situated on the private land, then such buffer will not apply. In maximum cases, the mangroves are situated on the government land. However, if in a very case-specific issue, if my society or if anybody of your society or your plot is getting affected by mangrove, then if you search the title of the mangrove adjoining to your plot, and if you come to know that this is a private plot, then there is a good reason that we can go before MCZMA and the ministry saying that as per the notification, this particular mangrove buffer, which you have shown in my property as CRZ 1, is incorrect because the adjoining mangrove is on private land. So, of course, again, that will be a proposal by itself. But I'm telling you what case-specific issues. Now, I think this I already explained to you in RGPGG and NDZ, which have shown as CRZ 3. As per the CRZ notification, only 15% FSI is allowed, and that too for civic amenities. So, how the accommodation reservation as per DCPR 2034 shall be permissible, that will be a challenge, and that issue we will have to get it sorted out from MCZMA. Then last, I have already told you that CRZ1 mangrove buffer FSI at present is not being permitted by MCZMA. Again, this is a matter of debate, and we'll have to go before the ministry through MCZMA. And I am quite sure that when you are not proposing any development in mangrove buffer, there should not be any issue on getting its FSI to be loaded on the area, either non-CRZ area or on the area situated beyond mangrove. So that's what is my guess. And that should be permitted. However, at present, they are not being. Now, just for the test case, I have shown this coastal land use map. All these 6 or 8 coastal land use maps also they have permitted on the website. You can see here, these are the mangroves which I was referring, I think, on the, these are the 161 mangroves. These are the small mangrove pockets I was referring on the factory side. These are the 161, these are the 161 mangroves. Yeah, these are the 161 mangroves. And these are the mangroves on the I'm sorry. So these are the mangroves, situated. I think this is the VKC area, MMRD area, wherein you are seeing these mangroves. These are the coastal land use maps. So when you are looking at any CRZ1 mangrove buffer zone, you have to see the CZMP in conjunction with the coastal land use. I think with this, I will conclude my presentation. I will give more time for the question answers. Should I stop sharing my PPT, or let us keep it open till the question answers here.
No, you can PPT.
Okay.
That's what Gupta said.
Yes.
Okay.
Only thing that you did not touch about the east coast of Mumbai.
Yeah, I did not touch east coast of Mumbai because east coast there are very few like private property. There, of course, I can touch it just now, but because there are major private properties on the west coast. East coast, if you see, if you start from Mulund and Thane, you see almost all the area is intercepted by Eastern Express Highway. So once it is 50 meters, there are hardly any properties on the landward side of the highway which are getting affected.
Okay.
Only Mahada, some Mahada layouts will be getting affected.
Like that, which will Kannamar.
Yes. So I think, but that is also, they have been reduced to 50 meters. Of course, there are issues in Mahada layouts which societies are getting affected by mangrove buffer zone. And that issue is a very serious issue which cannot be sorted immediately. There are certain plots which are getting affected fully by mangrove buffer. And I think their redevelopment will not be permitted at present. There are such cases, such critical cases, we have to go to the ministry case by case basis.
Oh, okay. I think Gupta said, we will ask participants to raise their hands using the facility in the app.
Yeah, I think before that, I have quick questions. Some questions I have received here, I can quickly answer.
Yeah, in the chat.
Yeah, Mr. Rajpat is asking from where we can access these data, CRZ maps. There are absolutely all the maps are available on the MCZMA website. Just type on Google MCZMA. You'll go on the homepage of MCZMA. On the homepage of MCZMA, don't go into the data. Go into the what's new. So in the what's new link, you will get all these maps.
Okay.
The next question is there any relaxation related to personal villas, bungalows along the coast like Alibag area? See, Alibag CZMP is not yet approved. So obviously in Alibag, the CRZ maps itself not yet approved. So the new notification has not came into force. However, when the new notification will come into force, there is a provision in the notification in future, of course, I am telling you, when the maps will get approved, that the own houses less than 300 square meters area, plot area, less than 300 square meters for own houses, there is no CRZ permission required. Of course, in CRZ 2, not in CRZ 3. So I think that benefit is there, but that will come in future, not today, at least for Alibag. Will 50 meter apply to Warsaw Creek? Yes. So that has been shown in the maps. So for Warsaw Creek, it will apply, but for C, it is 500. So if your plot is situated, is affected by both, by 500 meter by C and by 50 meter by Creek, or if it is beyond 50 meter from Warsaw Creek, but within 500 meter from the sea, then obviously it will get affected by the CRZ. Then the Sir Mumbai High Court in an order has ordered 50 meter buffer even if patch of mangroves is less than 1000 square meters. See, let us not go into these intricacies. That we will apply it later. Let us focus on the maps. So whatever maps of CRZ has been shown, right? So they have covered all the areas. So if in the maps the mangroves are not shown, that's what I said, that they have even shown the land use areas. So we have to read the CRZ 1 map along with the land use map. So if no mangroves are shown in the map, I think we should not refer to Bombay High Court order. See, somewhere you have to stop. So mangroves will come, mangroves will grow. See, so if you will ask me after 5 meters, see some areas mangroves have grown. So that will be get covered when the map will be amended. So I don't think we should worry about day-to-day site situations. We should somewhere restrict to the maps. Next, I think they are asking in Saraswat colony area development is restricted due to mangrove buffer as explained by. No, I have not explained. I have just said the area. So we have to check because in that map I read the Saraswat colony area. So not entire Saraswat colony will be affected. There may be some area in the map, I will open the map for Saraswati Colony afterwards again, and let us see whether any area is getting affected. So if that is getting affected by mangrove buffer, then yes, it will be affected. Otherwise, it is not. So I don't think in Saraswati Colony, very seaward side areas, very few pockets which are very close to mangroves, they may get affected by mangrove buffer. Otherwise, all the Saraswati Colony area in 500 meters from the sea on the landward side of the authorized building, that will be, get redeveloped as per the CRZ notification and DCPR 2034. Is change of user is allowed as per 2019 notification. See, the 2019 notification per se is very clear that the change of user is not permitted during reconstruction. So let us read it very, very clearly. So if your proposal is only for reconstruction, then only change of user will not be permitted. If there is an existing building, and in that existing building, in a ground floor area, you are doing some change of user, of course, it has to be an existing authorized building, then such change of user will be permitted. But during reconstruction, yes, the clause of no change of user still exists. I think we had raised a lot of objections that this no change of use is really a mockery, has got nothing to do and has got no ramifications with the environment. All of us must be aware that this particular clause was inserted maybe 15 years back by one of the ministers to stop the development in Chennai, right? So I think that Honorable Chief Minister of Chennai is also no more, that Environment Minister is also no more. So really this condition is absolutely unscientific and absolutely unwarranted. I think the scientific community, the developers must take up this, and they have to ask to the ministry what is the reason of incorporating this particular condition.
Okay, sir. Yeah, surely.
Yeah.
PEATA and BAI can do it jointly, do it together. PEATA and BAI.
Yeah. Because it is unscientific. Whatever I have said about the politics, let us not go into those political areas. We are not concerned about that because the lot of time has lapsed. It was 2008 story. It is a history now. So let us not go into that. Let us go purely into science. And there is no science involved. So I think we should be able to ask this. Then bandstand, bandra, which I said on bandstand, on landward side, there should not be any issue. But on Carter Road, I said there are a few societies which are getting affected by this mangrove buffer, which are very easily can be seen on the map. Yes, I think I have covered the questions which I received on the chat box.
Yeah, one Mr. Akbar Rijhwani. Sir, unmute yourself, sir. Rijhwani, sir, unmute yourself. Rijhwani, sir, unmute yourself. Please ask your question, sir. Fast. Mr. Akbar Rijhwani. Mr. Ankit Sidhpura.
Sir, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, please. Make it fast.
So on the areas where the plots or the buildings are directly facing the shore, however, in certain pockets, the land reclamation has been done by the government in form of coastal roads, and the high tide will change accordingly now. So can that be considered if the roads are partially constructed as to be on the landward side of the road, or will it have to be a proper existing road on the side?
So see, if you see the environmental clearance of the coastal road per se, the first bold condition in the environmental clearance is so clear that by virtue of the reclamation allowed for the coastal road, the high tide line will not change. So the old high tide line will remain. So that is the first condition. Second condition, the benefit of landward days shall not accrue for the coastal road. So I think both the questions are answered. All the reclamations done officially by the ministry will not be get covered now. yes, there are good chances that they will get covered in the next notification and in the next CRZ maps.
Okay, thank you, sir. So there's a question in chat. Do we need to get CRZ mapping done for MCGM approval submissions for any particular plot, even if clearly shows CRZ2 or out of CRZ in Bay Area?
Yeah, I will explain that. See, what has happened is, theoretically it is not required, because that 50 meters maps, which I had explained you, that the map now they have made using the precise latitude and longitude. So there is a proper grid, there is a proper coordinate system. Now in BMC, luckily in this particular development plan also, their base map is the satellite images. They had acquired the ICONOS images at that time, which are reasonably accurate, having 1 meter accuracy. Because I was there in Mumbai Municipal Corporation at that point of time during the inception days. So the base map they have prepared, which is absolutely accurate, the same accuracy as the CRZ maps is there. That is the reason these CRZ maps can be overlaid on their maps very precisely, on their development plan very precisely, and they can issue the DP remarks. Now, what I have heard from various architects, I have not met any municipal officer, but what I have heard from various architects and developers, that the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai is taking objection that the plans they have received are 1:25,000. However, the plans, their DP sheets are 1:5,000. So they are unable to superimpose. According to me, this is not a justification. 1:25,000 scale maps can be easily converted to 1:5,000 scale maps, and they can overlay on DP sheets. Yes, there will be a marginal error of line thickness. For that marginal error, they can officially say that instead of 50 meters, we are considering this as 60 meters buffer, for all mined areas. And for all plots beyond 60 meters, they can clearly give the DP remarks as non-CRZ. However, again, this all developers fraternity and architect fraternity, they have to, lobby in the corporation and request them to get it done, incorporated on the DP sheets, on the DP maps. Till that time, the demarcation issue will continue.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, participants, if anybody has questions, please raise your hands using the facility in the app. In the meantime, Mr. Anand Gupta, sir, Chairman of our Housing and RERA Committee.
Sir, just clarification. See, you have already said in your speech that this DCPR 2034 has given a rise in FSI for all the areas of Mumbai, city up to 4.05, looking at the and in suburb 3.40, looking at whatever is the road width. But still, then you say they need the 500 meter clearance is not given. So what does it mean to the people who wants to go for redevelopment and the developer who wants to go the development of particular plot?
Yeah. Actually, what has happened is they have not dispensed with the NOC part. The societies which are in these CRZ2 areas on the landward side of the road. Now let us presume there is some society on the Tata road on the landward side of the road and not affected by this mangrove buffer zone, which I have explained to you. Now that society will get all the advantages of DCPR 2034. However, they have to obtain NOC from MCZM. So that NOC part they have not, removed. And that NOC part is maybe a couple of months. So it is like getting one more permission. But they are not stopping your FSI. They are not putting any height restriction. See what restriction per se they are putting. I will explain you. Normally what MCZMA is putting restriction. Because these restrictions, we don't care much, because all these restrictions are already incorporated in our plans, because they are insisted by BMC level itself. I will, in short, I will explain you few restrictions. Number one, they will insist for provision of STP, which anyway we are doing in all our projects. Sewage treatment plant. They are insisting for, they are insisting for all these eco-friendly beaches. They are insisting for, solar lights. They will insist for some additional measures while you are undertaking the works. So I think all these measures we are anyway taking in Mumbai. See, all these problems arises in Mufisal areas. Now, I recall one presentation near the Chennai for a hotel project in the villages area near the Chennai, wherein the Delhi people have categorically stated that we won't permit you a hotel over here because you will draw the water from the groundwater, and then the water table will get affected in coastal area. And that is the reason we won't allow you a hotel till you propose a desalination plant. So all these issues, these issues, infrastructure related issues are not there in Mumbai. We have sufficient adequate water supply. We have adequate road widths. We have adequate transportation network. So there is no question that CRZ authority will play any role in these areas. And whatever they are insisting, anyway, we are satisfied. We are already adhering to it. So there is no issue. There will be only issue of getting one more NOC, which will require time. I agree with you. Which will require 3 months, 6 months time.
So, sir, except this obtaining NOC and time, there is no other stoppage.
There is no other stoppage except few areas which I have, threat areas I have clarified, like mangrove buffer, like RG, PG areas in CRZ2. So these are like, there may be some slum pockets on the seaward side of the road or seaward side of the authorized structure. See, now those slum pocket development, there will be a challenge because those slums are not situated on the landward side. So there are some case specific areas. That's what I first said. 90% cases are resolved. 10% problems will remain.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because have like notification issued for on the maps of Mumbai. Has it done for Thane and extended suburb of Mumbai?
No, I already explained that Mumbai city and Mumbai suburb, right up to Murud and right up to Daisar. That is clear. All DCPR 2034 will apply in CRZ2 areas. For Thane, for Navi Mumbai, for Palghar, the map making is in progress. It is at very advanced stage. So even for all coastal districts also. However, now definitely a lobbying, a chasing is required from all the sections, including the technical people, including the developers, including the bodies like PEATA, including the bodies like the local architectural association, including the body like the local developers, CREDI, MCHI, BAI, and all such associations. See, the chasing is required because I know, I was a part, I know in Mumbai how Mumbai developers, some of must be listening to me right now, how they were chasing this. So this chasing part will be required.
Even the general public can do the chasing.
Sir, general public.
The general public NGOs belong to the general public. NGOs belong to.
Yes, NGOs can do. Yes, obviously.
NGOs belong to the general public. Yeah.
See, NGOs can do. Why not? See, there has to be some pressure groups. Otherwise, it won't work. So NGOs can do. Yes, why not?
Dr. Gopal, does it not mean that it is a matter of few months or year? Nothing beyond that.
No, sir. But it was notification was 2019, and we are already 2022. So even though you give advantage of 2 years of Corona, still 1 year has passed.
Yeah. Anyway, Gupta sir, I think we will request our Honorary Treasurer, Shri Nakhawa, to.
Yeah, I will quickly say what's the FSI given to early seaface area. See, I will not answer this. What's the FSI given? I will simply say it is as per DCPR 2034 because I don't know your case. I don't know what is the road width and all that. So I will simply say, you please read DCPR 2034, that FSI will be permitted. If it is in CRZ 2 on the landward side of the road. Now, here is a good question. CRZ 3A and B are related to population density. I have not touched it because 3A and B, they are mainly for Mufisal areas, like if you go towards Alibag and Ratnagiri and all that. I don't think 3A and B are of any significance in Mumbai, except the three villages of, Manori, Gorai and all that. Again, the same good question. Hazardous line linked to climate change by 2050, roughly 0.5 meter increase in MSL. Accordingly, hazard line they have mapped. Yes, they have mapped hazard line. I don't know whether by 205 or 50.5 meter, whatever has been asked in the question. I don't know. This data I don't know. Hazard line they have marked considering the likelihood of the hazard. So as of we are aware, we make the plans for even the hazard prone areas, like for seismic zones. We are all aware. All structural engineers, we know seismic zone category 1, 2, 3 and all. So we undertake the proper precautions during our structural design. So many of you must be engineers. We know we have the concept of seismic designs of the structures. So accordingly, they have said that which areas affected by the hazard line, they should take care of from the point of view of likelihood of flooding. I think that is the only concept. So there is no other concept involved as far as hazard line is concerned. So 0.5 meters, sir, honestly, Naidu sir, honestly, I don't know whether it is 0.5 meter or 0.1 meter or 1 meter. I really don't. Because the notification per se has not covered up anything. The write-up issued by the ministry has also not said anything, anything about the specific 0.5 meter also. At the most, we can say, if at all Naidu sir is knowing about this 0.5 meter, we can say that the stilt height may be permitted more or something like that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The floor is yours, sir. Yours, Mr. Aniruddha Nakhawa.
Thank you, Madhusudan, and thank you, Chairman. Webinar on coastal regulatory zone, latest developments related to Mumbai city and suburbs. Sir, Dr. Gopal Chiplunkar, sir, what a presentation it was from your side. Very minute technicalities opened up and placed in front of us. As per the new CRZ restrictions and development in creek areas, it was reduced to 50 meter, and particular one bay you noted down, that was Mahim Bay. Other bays are not yet exempted from the earlier rules. He also explained us about various clauses and their amendments. I cannot put up everything here because he has gone so deeply into the subject and explained us related the CRZ lines from 50 meters, 100 meters and 500 meter lines, as well as the hazard line, and where these lines coincide at the marine Mahim Bay, and what are the advantages and disadvantages where the line is coinciding. So people in that region, they should take care of this and get a proper advice. And but with a more happy note, I think almost more than 90% of the plans awaiting the approvals will get a green signal, green flag from now onwards, hopefully. I thank you, Dr. Gopal Chiplunkar, sir. You are a perfect speaker because you are chairman of CRZ subcommittee as well as forest subcommittee, because mangroves come under forest as well as CRZ. Thank you, sir, once again. I also thank Anand Gupta, sir, chairman of our housing and RERA committee, who brings up very innovative ideas, and we have such wonderful lectures because of him. I thank President BAI RN Gupta ji, who came here for this to hear this beautiful webinar. I also thank past presidents and dignitaries of BAI headquarters and PEATA. I also saw Dr. V.S. Naidu, Umesh Dargalkar, Shri Satish Dupelia, Shri Ravi Harisinghani, and Bobby Vijaykarji. I finally thank our chairman, Mohinder Rijhwani, chairman of Mumbai BAI Centre, and our communication head, Madhusudan Sanjeeva, to take this initiative forward every month. Thank you, friends. Good evening again, once again, and thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Chiplunkar sir, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Should I leave?
Yeah, you can, sir. Thanks for have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Everybody can unmute themselves.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gopal Chiplunkar ji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful webinar, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
actually, wow, thank you, Chiplunkar. Basically, it was very good lecture.
I think Naidu sir, we have met in past, I presume. So I think I was knowing that you will ask definitely this question.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to speak raise question inside, but actually, my mic was muted.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have.
You could have raised your hand, sir. I could have
No,
unmuted you.
actually, Naidu sir, you raised the hand physically. It was actually technically, it should have been raised.
Yes.
And even I was also muted.
It's okay.
You should have written text to Madhu. You can ask now.
Naidu sir, no, sir, I think Naidu sir, the question I had tried to answer because he is also authority in this area.
I raised no CRZ 3AB.
No, hazard line I think he was asking.
According to the Dr. Shailesh Naik committee,
Yes.
when actually
Yes, sir.
2 and 3A.
Yes.
2 developed area, 3
Yes.
underdeveloped area.
Yes.
But in this underdeveloped area, that
Yes.
is classified 2.
Yes.
Actually, that is linked to the population density.
Density. Yes. Yes, that is population density of 2636, something like that.
162.
Yes.
Then it will become. It is as good as.
Yes. But that is mainly applies in. That's what I said. It will mainly apply in Panve, in Alibag and all those areas. And their maps are not yet finalized. See, in their maps, they are going to show these 2A and 3A very conspicuously in the separate colors.
First of all, they have to set in the local population density.
Yes.
Accordingly, they have to maintain this one.
I think, sir, they have done that. I think they have done
so
that.
once that is done, that will become that is as good as the
yes.
subject 2 only.
Yes.
Second thing.
No, but in any way, those maps are yet under preparation. So I think that's why I didn't touch that topic.
Yes. Second thing, hazardous line. Hazardous line. This is fixed based on the MSL rise, mean sea level rise.
Yes.
That means which is connected to this climate change.
Yes. Yes.
See, according to one estimate, because of climate change, mean sea level rises for 0.5 meter in the Bombay region.
Okay.
In the Mumbai region, it rises 0.5 meter. So, if 0.5 meter it rises, nearly 4 kilometers to distance, the high tide level will come to that this one towards land.
But they are already shown approximately 2.5 kilometers.
Still construction, while constructing this one building, you have to maintain the 0.5 meter elevation from the present level.
Yes.
That you have to take care.
Yes. Yes.
Then
yes.
Then it's okay, because our ultimate aim is
to stop the hazards, to control the hazards.
2050.
Yes.
2050. So that level should be maintained.
Yes.
It's okay, but that hazardous line problem will be solved.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Yoji. It was wonderful lecture.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all for attending this webinar. We hope you keep on joining us all webinars in future also.
Okay. Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll leave.
We'll be in touch, sir. Yeah.
Sure.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Chairman, sir, I think I'll end the meeting.
Yeah, please end the meeting.
Thanks to everybody.
Chairman,
thank you, Nakhawa, for giving a nice vote of thanks.